First thing was like so jarring at how realistic it sounds and how quick it was and easy. It was like I didn't think of that. I had to take a second. It was fear. It was like how's this not going to take over the world?
That's something AI cannot touch. It cannot mimic true human creativity. I really believe that there's some sort of innate quality to human creativity that people can feel. And this AI stuff, for me at least, it just feels alien.
What's up to you and what's not up to you? What's in your control? What's not in your control? There's more control than you think.
So you're not just sitting there going, write me a song. You're being very precise. So you are totally engineering. So the more precise you're doing to this, the better your collaboration is going to be.
Right. And the more yourself it's going to be too.
Yes.
We're not just garage songwriters. Like, we have a serious stake in it, and this is for songwriters. This is sort of just giving them a window into a different way of doing it.
It's very much an instrument that you got a new instrument you got to learn, and it just comes with the same learning curve as learning a new instrument. It's going to enhance our songwriting ability.
Hey, it's my guy Pierre.
Oh man, it's been a minute, eh?
Yeah,
doing well. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of the music has taken backseat to the movies and TV. So that's what I've been doing.
Really?
Yeah. So about 3 weeks on a reimagining of Little House on the Prairie being filmed here, called Independence, and then a bit of Violent Night 2 with David Harbour.
Inside the partner standing in front.
Good, man. So you're getting some gigs. Hey, Will?
Yeah.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Very good.
Good.
I tried to dial in about 20 minutes ago, but it wouldn't let me in.
Oh yeah, sorry, man. I just hopped on a few minutes ago.
Oh, that's it.
I'm kind of the host of this thing, so if I'm not on here, I guess it doesn't let anybody in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for being on here, and Pierre, great to see you, man. Pierre was just saying he's getting some more gigs in the film industry, which is exciting. I know you're.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's quite the process to watch the the team at work, especially on that this one, the Little House on the Prairie reimagining will be on Netflix, so it's tier 1, right? So it's serious business there on set watching that role. So yeah, so
very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Have you done any you do the acting part of it? Is there any music part that you do in it?
No. And this gig I just jumped on. It's the background artist, but kind of depending on the scenes featured and all that kind of stuff. Still auditioning for speaking, but yeah, the music. They did have a professional musicians who I know from town, but they were kind of miming because it's all that's what it's all about, the movie magic, right? So
right,
yeah, that was good.
Right, yeah,
let us
that's
know
pretty cool.
Something drops so we can check it out.
For sure. Yeah,
definitely.
Looking forward to today, man.
Yeah, me too. I've been kind of prepping for it for a while, and I thought I'd set it up the way I usually set up coaching in a one-on-one scenario. This seems to be more my wheelhouse than this like TED Talk version, So I mean, you have those guys, and that's an art. Lecturing is an art, just like anything else. So you have to really study up on that stuff and be a performer when you do lectures.
Well, you know what? This is going to be low key today, Will. So this might be a good practice run, also, just to get the rust off or whatever. You probably haven't done a lot of these before.
No, actually, not. I've done several workshops before in different aspects of things, but this is kind of the first demo on AI and my process. I don't share my process a lot.
Yeah.
But this new process I'm working on seems to be shareable, it seems. I mean, people are starting to get it, and we're at a point now, I think, with AI that we're kind of demystifying things. And will it work? Can you build whole songs on it? How ethical is it? How legal is it? How all those issues, they're coming into play now. So this will be the first iteration of this. So, and I guarantee if we did this next week, it'd be completely different. So we'll
funny.
have, the tools are different. There are new releases on the tools that we use for AI, and
Yeah.
and structuring it with your own skills and abilities.
Well, I'm super excited for this workshop, and it's funny because I actually got some weird comments when I posted about this on Facebook. A
Yeah,
lot of people are like, "No, thank you." Like they're anti AI
yeah, yeah.
because they don't understand it, and I understand there's some fear around it, and I don't think they understand how you can also use it as like a tool, like what you do. You use it to like produce demos, which I think is super valuable.
Right.
And so I assume we're going to be getting into that today as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. We are, we'll go through a little bit of that today. We'll start from scratch too. I mean, there's different approaches to it, and that's the idea. I have, outside of AI, excuse me, I've been working on, uh, um, uh, technically I'm a song theorist, which is, it's
Cool.
somewhat self-proclaimed, but it's easier to talk about being a songwriter and being coach, but really what I'm doing is I've been analyzing songs since '93, I think, and I've been in several. There's a thing here in the United States called the Nashville Songwriters Association International. I've been a member of that in and out since '93, and it's just chapter meeting on songwriter workshops, and lectures come in, and pretty much what you're doing with Songfarm here. I have that background experience on different chapters. The Nashville chapter seems to be the biggest one. Obviously, it's the namesake, and so they have when I was living in Nashville for 8 years, 8 to 10 years, I think it's blurry, but it we were there every week, hitting open mics every night, and then moving out to the United States throughout the country. There were chapters of these, and seeing models work. This is more on the song farm idea. Uh, Seeing what works with their models and why chapters work or do not work, or why the membership program works and doesn't work. Those kind of things. So I have that kind of insight, as well as the workshops insights too. Having given several of them, and seeing what works and what doesn't work over the past few decades. Um, but yeah,
Interesting, man. Yeah, a wealth of experience and being in the trenches, so to speak, with not
yeah,
just the songs, but with the songwriting groups.
yeah, and it's an infrastructure more than anything. I think you get these; they're all telling you the same thing, and it's who tells you is what resonates with you the most. So if you have, even in through Nashville, we went through, like telling you all these workshops we went through, there was probably 4 or 5 different teachers, I guess, of songwriting. And two of my buddies would gravitate more toward one teacher, and I would gravitate toward another teacher, because they're telling you the same thing, but they're telling you in a way that you understand it better. You can see it. So that takes a lot of pressure off me being a coach, is that I might not be your guru. I might not be your teacher, but I'm just going to give you my interpretation today, gesundheit, of uh, uh, of my aspect of it. And that's what, we're all song theorists at that point. We're just, this is, I started with a guy named Jai Joseph out of San Francisco. And he doesn't know me, but it seems to be I gravitated toward his teaching and how he presented songwriting the most. He'd written a few books, Jai Joseph.
Yeah,
I think it might be an F at the end instead of a PH.
yeah.
But his part of his spiel was, and this is blew my mind when I first heard it, was that there's 3 parts to a song, right? So I thought, challenge accepted. Is there 3 parts to a song? Then that started my brain. I'm going, how is that? He brought up with this rhythm, harmony, and melody. Those are the 3 parts to all songs in the world. That's his theory on it. So over the decades, I was like, how is that right, or how is that wrong? with it.
Mhm.
And, my theory now is that there's 7 parts.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that because I know that you have a philosophy, if I can call it that, or a framework, which is sort of what you're leading with. And I know you're a songwriting coach. Um,
Mhm.
for anybody maybe watching this later on, because this segments of this might go on YouTube as clips, if you guys are cool with that, Will and Pierre, just to sort of, help proliferate what you're teaching people here and help you get yourself out there a little bit. But for people who don't really know you at all, Will, can you maybe give us a little, like you've given us a bit of a background, but what are you sort of teaching today and maybe a bit of relevant details about you?
Well, I wanted to use the backbone of those, the 7 elements that I'm aware of right now. That's the revision that I've had for probably, I've had revisions throughout the decades. This is the latest revision of it. And as you go through these song theories when I start finding more things, my brain naturally is like, is that right or is that wrong? How's that fit with what I already know about it? And I think a part of it too is psychology, which is one of the elements. Is called the songwriter, not just the melody, the rhythm, and the lyric per se, but you have the part is called the songwriter, and that's something individually you have to determine on your own. Is this am I qualified? Or where's the imposter syndrome come in? Where's the loss aversion syndrome come in? So those psychological things that you got to determine on your own is that how important and how confident I am about the things I know about songwriting.
Right.
Right. So you have to determine that on your own. And so I'm like this iteration now. The more things I know, I'm on it daily. Learning new stuff about how even the newer with AI coming into effect now. There's songwriters who didn't call themselves songwriters, but they just want to dabble in songs that are just now upgraded and supercharged their songwriting career per se into the fact that they don't have a barrier to entry.
Now that AI is in the
Now
picture.
with AI is in the picture. Exactly. So, those clients and one of the products that I have in not just in song coaching is I write songs for other people, obviously, and I'm not unique. And as far as that, and several of my friends do the same thing, but they're usually songs like, "Can you write a song for my wife and I? It's our anniversary. I want to write a song for my wife too, with these specific details in it about their first date, about where they got married and things, and how they're gonna be forever. Those type of really marriage forever songs." It's like, yeah, so you go put through the process of putting those in. Now, that guy who gave me that prompt that to write his song can write it on his own, right?
Mhm.
So that's unlocks another songwriter and his uniqueness and what he wants to put into that. You know what I'm saying? So this is where AI becomes a tool and an instrument that, like you play a guitar, for the person who had a barrier to entry before AI came around.
Also, it becomes a bit of a weapon, though, for against people like you and I,
Just
maybe.
like, well, the idea is to, knowing what I know about business as well, you got to pivot. It's going to mean that there's a lot of fear factor out there. Even with outside of music, you have AI. They're going to take our jobs. They're going to, things. What jobs are being lost in the next 10 years or whatever because of AI? But
Yeah.
you got to also ask too, what jobs are being gained, and can I pivot from one aspect of like, okay, this is new, so let's go ahead and be positive about this, and how can I add this to my arsenal?
Yeah. Where's the opportunity? Perhaps.
Exactly. It always
Right.
an opportunity. I mean, there's never anything bad. I never see anything as a as a obviously as an obstacle to overcome,
Yeah.
rather than something like, oh well, I better stop that barrier. I better stop what I'm doing.
And I think the key thing you said, pivot. You've got to be ready. It doesn't matter. It's like in education. I was a teacher for a bunch of years. Different things came in. You're going to fight it, or you want to be that one who's going to go, I'm not doing that. Okay, good luck. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
Then you're just a grizzled old grump, and you know what I mean. So in the your profession, you say, okay, well, this is what it is. How can I use it and turn it around to to be of benefit to everyone? Like that. This is a reality. So yeah, you're open minded, and if you're not open
Right.
minded, you might as well just move on and just sit in your room and just whatever, just complain, right?
Right. And that's really what it starts out with. And that was the idea too, was these seven elements I have now. Getting back to, the songwriter being the one of the elements is that you got to, you can be you're the problem. It seems that, you have to be the responsibility for that, the solution as well. You can't blame anybody else for like, oh, I can't do this because of this is happening now. So I think, and there's a lot of fodder for that fear through media. Not to get, I'm not political at all, but yeah, you can highlight different parts of that to discourage people or sell more advertisement or whatever it is. So, but you get and our job as song theorists and coaches is to navigate our way through that, untangle that mess, and demystify. And that's pretty much what we're doing today. Is trying to convey the concept of what's real and what's
Yeah.
what's up to you and what's not up to you, what's in your control, what's not in your control. There's more control than you think. Just the mindset of getting through that.
I think it's actually kind of a cool opportunity for songwriters, even less experienced songwriters, because they do have a say in what a lot of them kind of want something specific out of the tools, right? So, and I assume today you're going to be showing us sort of how you can program some of these AI tools to kind of say what you're trying to say. So the artist is not lost. You're still there. It's just different ways. It's like not a guitar anymore. Now it's like a program.
It is. It's like an instrument, and you have to learn to play it correctly. Because literally, again, having decades of writing songs and decades of playing my guitar and just studying instruments for that matter. Since I was a kid, I was in orchestra and a band and marching band, and then you go up to college, and that's what I did was just kept pursuing music from that point on since the fourth grade. I don't know, you have that kind of grade level. So, and learning about life by itself, through music. But yeah, it's very much an instrument that you got a new instrument you got to learn, and it just comes with the same learning curve as learning a new instrument. If I wanted to learn the violin, which I'd never played before, it's a learning curve like anything else. How do I hold the bow? How do I prompt? What's the lingo behind holding the bow? What do you call this? What do you call that? Same way with AI, and that's what we're going to go through today. Is we're not going to, I'm not going to insult your intelligence about what you did. I'm sure this is stuff that you already know. Is all I'm doing, just putting into a lens and then gathering up all that kind of, trying to do some sort of entropy through this AI and gear it toward what we do. It's going to enhance our songwriting ability. Hope by the end.
Well, that's what I think is so exciting. It's enhancing. It's giving us more tools as songwriters.
Absolutely. If you look at digital audio workstations, when they first started coming around, we started getting these plugins that were auto-tuned, and when they were, is it the real voice? Is it something that talent? Is it versus, do I hit these pitches or hit these notes? And then, so there's all kinds of controversy on that from the purists. Which is very legitimate because you can, I don't want to get too far into like how society works, but you have to have those people that are saying those things. You have to have those people that are saying that you're not talented because you use auto-tune, in order to have the conglomeration of society work. So
for sure. And we could totally go down that rabbit hole, but
yeah, we're not going to. We'll touch base on it, but it's the same idea. If you talk about, easy prompting, and you talk about, converting something analog into digital at that point. If I'm playing my guitar into a microphone, that's converting analog into digital. So it's just getting your mind wrapped around that. And a matter of fact, as it came up past 6 months or so, there's a style of writing that I did before AI came around. I had to think of a name for it, where I'm sitting in front of my yellow pad and I have my guitar. I start plucking away at it and I write things down. That's very analog. But I was calling that troubadour writing, troubadour songwriting. I don't know if it's going to catch. I don't know if it's going to be a
Like
token, but
TRUE? Troubadour?
troubadour, TROUB.
Okay, so it's not like a play on
ADR.
words.
No. It's just straight troubadour. Yeah,
Maybe
in Texas
trademark.
we have these troubadours. Troubadour is the name of these traveling songsters.
Yeah.
Which is what I mean. That's what I feel too. Is like it's when you don't use AI and you're still using it's a little bit of arcane technique as far as songwriting goes, and it's very legit, but it's going to become an art that's lost a little, and it's usually when lost arts are about people dive back into them. Like, I want to be able to write a song without AI. Let's do that. And there's a whole set of, we know this by being songwriters now. We collaborate with people. There's a skill set that you got to put into, and who's the leader, who's the follower in this, collaboration session. And there's, but I'm writing with my guitar and a yellow pad and no computers whatsoever. That's called troubadour songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of vinyl, right? Like everyone was afraid you'd lose vinyl, and with streaming, the vinyl's coming back, and there's always people, the purists, who want to have that tactile experience to feel connected to things.
Yeah, I think the word hipster was kind of used derogatory term, but I think that's the idea. There's a hipster in all of us, to where it's like, I like that kind of bit of nostalgia. I want to use a typewriter instead of a word processor or whatever.
Yeah.
And some people have to have that tactile feel. And there's a lot of times where I have to still write stuff down on notes. My handwriting's terrible. I still don't remember half the cursive I've learned in elementary school. And so it is another skill set that you got to.
And it's funny that you mentioned the cursive. I was going to mention that too. Like, I just retired. Well, it's my second year retired after all those years. And I kept doing the cursive, and they're going like, why are you doing that? And I said, there's a value to it. But like you say, but the kids that I did teach all those years, they can actually sign their name in cursive, So now, I ask people, I go, what happens to these, 18-something-year-olds? They more or less kind of put initials, but I go, man, but all that to say, it's nice to go back to that. Like I'll do some handwriting, like grandma used to send you the birthday cards and all nice and cursive handwriting, but you go back to that. So like you said, the troubadour, I like that. That's a nice way to put it. The paper and pen, which I'm still with that, because I don't write a lot. When I do, it's the paper and pen, but it's to be able to have that. Oh yeah, I can do that. I can put the computer away, and then I can do that. So cursive, I'm going to do a little cursive, a little note to someone instead of the email and the text.
Right.
And all.
Just for sheer art of it.
Yeah.
The art and the feeling of it,
Yep.
And then it still conveys a message. It might even add to the aesthetic of something that you're working on, even as, even if you're like a scene in a movie, it's like the character writes in cursive rather than uses a typewriter, those kind of, you're still as an artist conveying that another tool to convey that message.
Exactly. Yep.
And just to sort of tie this up is like the lost art thing and the fear behind technology changing the way people do things. I think that was the undercurrent that a lot of people felt about this workshop. So let's try, or at least let's pull the veil back a little bit and show people that maybe we're not going to lose the art, but it's transforming a bit, and the future is maybe bright for songwriters.
I agree with that so much. What I'm going to do, it's very simple. What we're going to do, I'm just going to open up ChatGPT. I'll explain a little bit about it, and we might even have to kick together a song idea between the three of us, just to kind of go through it. And there's several different approaches. Obviously, we can't get through all of them, But like I said, I'm going to kind of guide us through what I've been doing, given my experience and given my background on it. So
Is Suno going to make an appearance today?
it will. It will. And I'll
Awesome.
go through a couple of those today, and it's and I'll delve into it more, but I'll give you my feelings on it when I first started working with Suno. I guess you still see me, okay?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're in there.
Yeah. Cool.
Now, are you paying for ChatGPT 5 here? Is this?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have a free version of it, and there's obviously you can go online and it'll tell you, but there's a free version. There's 3 different tiers. Which is this is the main screen of ChatGPT, obviously. And I think people have seen this before. I'm not going to go into too much detail.
Yeah.
The 3 tiers of ChatGPT, and this is just a example of prompting that we're going to be using later on. I'll show you how it is.
I actually use a ton of ChatGPT. I use it every day.
Yeah. I think everybody's doing the same thing, and it's got different. These are, it's pretty much going to replace like browsers and things, but yeah, I'm using just the $20 a month version, and it's not
Yeah.
GPT-4, it's GPT-5, which is a better thinking model. We can get into that, but GPT-5 is just the latest version of it. This will give me old information. I don't know why. But we can also talk about how inaccurate a lot of this information is.
A lot of it is sometimes it's overconfident, right? And
It is. It's overconfident. They have a technical term called hallucinations. It's trying to get it right, but really what happens when I've typed in that in the prompt box down here, it's turning it into a digital number. So it's not really giving you, I'm not talking to someone per se. What it's doing is giving me a prompt, and it's turning into things called tokens, and tokens are trying to guess the next word in a pattern. And it's doing that incredibly fast and using a lot of energy to do so.
You know quite a bit about this.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're, I was programming just on offset. I was programming some coding. I was doing building an app. And you have to kind of know what it kind of does in order to get the prompting right. It's not so much when we're our songwriting part of it, but just a brief overview. It's like it's got to convert your words, your natural speech and language, and how you communicate with people into these tokens. And as it goes through, it's got to go through a neural pattern generator, if you look at it that way. And it guesses the next thing you're trying to say. So it's not really, at this time, not really thinking, although it looks like it's thinking. Because it's going so fast that it looks like it's thinking about the next thing, and it has a reasoning. The new GPT-5 has reasoning. So it's like, well, if you're doing this, then this got to happen. This is logic.
Smarter.
So it's way overkill for what we've got going on. But because it might even be in the way sometimes. The less you put in as an explanation, this is just a note on prompting. You get to look at yourself as a prompt engineer, and then tie it to our songwriting. We're engineering a prompt to make sure that our songs are exactly how we want them. So we have to look at it not at the troubadour level of songwriting. When I'm talking about when I first started writing songs, I started strumming my guitar and I wrote from top to bottom. Right. So I had the first line, and I just started writing through and just stream of consciousness all the way through. And it kind of didn't make sense by the time I got to the bottom. I lost the context of it. I lost these other factors of it. But so you have to kind of structure to know more about songwriting is to write a better song when you're using AI to do so. The more you put information you give it, the more accurate you're going to get the result. That makes sense.
Prompt engineer is quite the cool term. I
Yeah.
think that can catch on in certain ways in the future.
And now we're just explaining that you get a free version of this, which this feature comes in the free version, or I can pay $20 a month, and it gives me a little more features, a little more reasoning, more tokens. Where I was telling you about that, how it converts. The more tokens you have, the more you can put into it at one time. More prompting you can put into it at one time, and the more feedback you can get from it at one time. So if my process starts with this new project, and let's call it the new song, and it's usually when I write this project, it's I have an idea what song I wanted to do.
Okay. So you go into it with like an idea in mind.
Yeah, it's like, I got a new song. Let's go, and it's just our workflow is to organize it. New song. Everything works great when you're working live, doesn't it?
Maybe give it a refresh. Sometimes it just does weird stuff. Eh?
Yeah.
I still remember that song you shared with us. I forget what you called it, but I really loved it. And it was about kind of like giving the girl you're sort of courting some space, because she's been through a lot of, she's maybe divorced and she wants to go slow, and you had a really great title for it.
Yeah. Let me.
That's maybe might take us off course here.
No, it won't. We can probably have. I'll tell you where I start with things. To what I've already done was create a songwriting folder for this, and then what you do is let's call it songwriting. This is the project name for this, and within this, I can start a program, or start a project with the song in mind, and name it the project, the song, if I wanted to. So a lot of times what I'll do too, which is I'm starting to do now, which is wasn't in my head, was to go and put my theories of songwriting into ChatGPT. It's like I was working on my book. So what happens is that it starts to when I start to write a song within that. Can you guys see my bass?
Yep.
Okay. What I start to do when I start writing a song within this songwriting world that I've created, it kind of starts to write in my own voice. Does that make sense? It starts to write in I can reference things of like, oh, I can, let's put this in a certain format, this verse, chorus. And then I'll ask, do you remember, I'll ask GPT, so do you remember my 7 elements of songwriting theory? And I say, yes, I remember that. Let's work with the lyrics here. And then, so I don't have to go back in and, um, and retell it what's going on. I don't have to explain myself. So I'm going to start here with, um, in my songwriting folder.
Okay.
So, so now I'm kind of thinking about, when I started that song, the song that you mentioned was that I was just thinking of the idea of it, and usually it starts out with the songwriter, which is one of the elements of songwriting, and it is it's usually psychology, relationship psychology. So as a songwriter, one of the things I've started studying was relationships and how they work, and what if there's behind it. There seems to be a whole nother rabbit hole of how relationships work, and using the concepts through my relationships, and why was this person mean to me, and why was that person that way to me, and all that. So that's usually where my understanding of writing songs works. And if I want to write a song about love, I have to know what love is. I have to know what relationships are. And this is just my understanding of being a human being, right? So you have to kind of understand yourself as far as, how do I operate in a relationship, or how do I operate with this interaction. So that's called writing from the idea of it, and which is another element is called the idea. So and I'm having to go from a logical side down to a creative side here, so it's going to take a second.
Well,
But,
How were you going to approach, like, you said something about starting a song from scratch today. Was that something that was on your kind of your
Yeah,
list? Do you how to approach this?
yeah. We can start from different angles. I mean, I was telling you about the 7 elements. Any one of those sevens you can start. If I had good chord progression, I can start with the harmony. If I had a good melody wise, it's like that melody is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But uh, but today, we'll start with the idea of it, and you guys are going to get ideas.
Well, sure, we could come up with something. I know
Yeah,
we're all
that's a good
pretty.
idea. I mean, that's probably what we'll do because
But it's
we have a little
interesting
time
you
to do
say
something.
though. It's interesting you say that, Will, because usually you do have a song or music in mind, and maybe you already have a bit of a lyrical idea, and then you go into ChatGPT and maybe you're trying to flesh it out in there.
Yeah,
But you're saying at this point, maybe we're just coming to it. Let's start with the idea first.
yeah. Like the situation. You would even Pierre, like you're an actor. You have to start with the character. Where that character come from. So I have to write. If I'm writing for that character, they're going to be a different person than I am. Or it could be the same person I am, but I'm using different parts of myself to kind of flesh out that character better. So the idea, running from an idea, seems to be more solid because you're kind of right. That's really what we're doing with our lyrics when we first write in our bedrooms or kitchen tables. It's like I just have an idea that this guy doesn't really bug me, or the person I'm in a relationship now is, why do we get mad at that? Why is that person not listening to me or whatever? It's like I'm invisible, or it's like
Well,
treating me like this,
yeah.
right?
Well, I've got a workshop coming up Tuesday, acting workshop, and I'm supposed to be playing a commanding officer, and I'm going to have a chat with a private who kind of flew some drones over somewhere he wasn't supposed to, and he's implicating someone else. A very short scene, but I'm the commanding officer, right? So like you talk about the acting thing. So that's my character. So I've got to study that this weekend to kind of go in Tuesday and say, okay, I'm the commanding officer, and I'm disciplining, but right away the guy implicates someone else. So he's kind of like, he's scared, right? But
Yeah,
anyway, so that's I don't know if that's any kind of an idea, but the
it is.
power,
Well, you have
the
to.
power.
It's that power struggle of fear. Why does he do that? Why did he make that decision to go in?
Right.
And it's usually based on fear. It's like the fear of like I don't want to lose, or the fear of the fear of failure. Perhaps he was a kid going through his disciplinary school,
Mhm.
military access that he was. It was embedded in him, or some sort of um, a discipline that he had that he was um, made him lead the decision today.
Yeah.
So it's usually that kind of psychology, and usually that happens too. If I'm writing a country song about a breakup, for example, there's so many parts of a breakup. If you look at an overview of it, what part of the breakup are they in? Same with this idea. How does he feel about that after he made that decision?
Hmm.
Well, what
You
about,
know,
here's another, if I can throw an idea into the hat here, because, and
sure.
also one quick thing I'll say, we don't have unlimited time today either. So I don't want to put any pressure on you, but I do want to try to get to some practical stuff as well, just because,
Yeah,
but one idea I think could also be pretty prevalent today is the idea of like this lost art thing and the fear of technology or AI or losing that connection to the lost art thing. That's another
yeah.
idea.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about lost art. Just use the word lost art. Lost art a is an idea we had for a song title. It's pretty simple, right? I mean, we're not trying to figure out nuclear fission here. We're just going to use our words and just kind of pop it out. And so lost art is an idea. So the brainstorming idea part of this thing is we had, and again, typing is a lost art. So I can't do that very well. But uh, how is it that we can tie? Um, how is it that we can tie it into a relationship, for example, is it like chivalry is dead, or is it like standpoint? And then,
Relationship with yourself, a relationship with another.
yeah, and just those things. I'm brainstorming, right? We're brainstorming with this is gonna be forever. Me typing this ourselves question mark with another, and then
Mhm.
it's like, I want to get all the stuff out that I want into this prompt. Luckily, they're pretty good. She's pretty good. I say she's pretty good at sorting through your thoughts and how they would work. And then you kind of go with one of them. Then I would ask, that's kind of what I want. Give me a few ideas.
Do you name your chat GPT like Lucille, like BB King would
Yes.
name?
Amy.
You got a chat Amy? You got a name for your chat?
Yeah. Amy.
All right,
She
cool.
knows you say Amy. Right. So it's giving me this art of the lost art.
Mhm.
So you can use a double meaning, the art of communication, how lost art, how rare good communication feels in modern relationships. So that feels pretty good. Like communication has always been a hot button issue in the relationships I've been in.
Yeah.
How communication is a lost art in a relationship. Let's do that one. How
Sure.
communication is a lost art. Let's do that one. Do that. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of give me what I know about songwriting now. I was going to give it, before it gives me any type of idea of what I want to write the structure of it, which is an element number 5, I think, structure. Is that write a good first verse.
Cool.
Now I want to structure the first verse. 4 lines. Long vowel sounds. You don't have to do this. You can just go and hit enter and it will do it for you. But I want to get more specific as to what the idea I wanted. Use one. You can get really outrageous with this too. 1 syllable words as needed.
And this goes back to your songwriting knowledge, knowing kind of what works in songs.
Right.
And lyrics.
Exactly. So set up the first verse. We always know that the first verse has to set up something, a location, a time, and their life. The 2 characters, they get whatever the character is. If it's a narrative, it's a. So we want to set the first verse in a time, location, through a first person narrative. So that's about that's about all I want to put on that for right now. And then that'll give us a good idea what's going on. And I just wrote the first verse because I don't want to write the whole thing. I just kind of want to see what it says and I have an idea what I want it to say. But I stand alone by it. Yeah, not a bad thing. I stand by the phone in the cold air and nodded. It's a little wordy. This is where the editor kicks in. Normally, this is where the muse falls out. When you're troubadour writing, you kind of stream of conscious troubadour write songs from top to bottom, or write a verse first or chorus first, and the muse comes down. It comes from wherever it comes from, and then you write what you need to write. Then the muse goes away. The second step of this thing, the editor and the word economist comes in, and then you start editing and writing. So this is where the editor, in my case, comes in, which I don't particularly care for because I really like that when Muse is in the room with you. But I do like editing as just as much. So what I'm doing is have an editing hat on right now. So I stand by the phone in the cold air at night. Streets alone. Boisterous. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think it's too wordy. Another edit. I'll give you a couple of edits, and we'll go to the next step of this thing.
The last line, I'm not. We hold it in. I mean, that's could be better said, maybe.
Still try it. Yeah, it's a little. Again, it's not rocket science. You just tell me what you want.
Mm-hmm.
The last line. You think it's the last line's a little trite?
Yeah. Speak deep.
We used to speak deep. Now I hold it in.
Yeah.
It could hit hard. It could. I don't know. Maybe hit a little hard.
Fine.
And who stands by
good
the phone anymore? I feel like you're standing by out of a phone booth or something.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or the phone in your kitchen that used to be on the wall.
Yeah. A long time ago.
That's not a bad. That if you talk about songwriting in general, people don't use the word texts in songs that much. Like especially if you're writing like even new country stuff. Every now and then you'll have like a word social media pop up in songs.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually on the phone or calling, or you might get a text here and there. The word text, I mean, in order to paint that picture of kind of they're on the phone somehow. But it's nice to have a nostalgic part too of like, hey, I was on the phone, on the wall phone or whatever, or the clock on the wall or whatever. People, it's not a digital clock; it's a regular clock. So
it makes me think of your audience too, because I know a lot of these younger country guys do say really hip stuff in their lyrics, but that wouldn't appeal to guys in our 50s or 40s and things like that so much.
Right. Even like vehicles are a big thing. So if you're writing about a vehicle at one point, I could have it's not like a new Tesla. It's usually like an old pickup truck.
Yeah.
With three, I don't know if you had those trucks that had three on the tree. Or a stick shifter where it's on the column, right? It's on the floor. So yeah, so you can, you immediately know what kind of person that guy is, their character is by what vehicle he drives and how he drives it, and so.
Well, there's the character again, right? That's another kind of
exactly. You want to show like you said in movies, so you want to show and not tell.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to show what he's doing, give him his character. Define his character.
I love that. Show, don't tell.
Yeah. So I can blatantly I can blatantly say he's driving the pickup truck, but it doesn't really move the story forward and the character forward either. And by the way, if you get into one of my one-on-one sessions, this is pretty much what we do. Is like we talk about the song that you're working on and how each line conjures up a situation for the character or the plot, for example, the theme or the premise or whatever it is. So we're actually, delving into, that's why I'm a coach, not a teacher, is that I don't give you lessons on how to write these things. Although we do, give you instruction on how to do the technique properly, and you can practice it on your own. But it's more like just taking your music and taking your song, going through it line by line and say, well, you could probably do this better than this and this. So it's a heavy critique, giving a direction that you really want and the message that you really want to give. So that was kind of a little snippet of what
that sounds like a fun little session.
It is. It works out really good. I've developed that over maybe 10 years, I think. We've had a few clients that come in and we spend about 2 hours on 2 songs that they bring, and we go, I'll ask them what were you trying to get at with the song, and what they wrote is different than their idea of the song. It's like, well, why don't you just say that? And it's to get that point out of your head and onto the paper or onto now the computer. it's hard. I mean, it's hard to get that idea out. And so we kind of go through each line by line, like, well, he's standing at a telephone booth, or they're standing at this thing. What would they say? What's the feeling of the wind and the area that's around? So we get down to, it's very much tightly concised work to your music that you're doing now. I don't have anything that goes outside of that. We're trying to get that one song. I end up falling in love with the songs that all my students write, because it's like I'm very much involved in that part of it too. Okay, so we're at our first verse, and that was the only thing. I just wanted to give you a verse. We can go through and do choruses, and you can go through this whole thing with your edit.
Yeah.
And here's the, we trimmed it down a little bit and gave it a sharper, punchier verse. And look at that last line.
Yeah.
It kind of leads into something. Yeah, it leads into something else, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Silent sleeping Mark. Yeah, I wait by the phone with cold air.
I like the wire gone dark. That's kind of poetic.
Yeah. So what I can do now, I'll give you a couple ideas. We'll move over to Suno. Like this is a very snippet that I can spend all day on this. I can spend like, okay, that's really pretty cool. I have to tell it that's good. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Amy. Yeah, tell Amy that's great, because what she'll do is like she gets a reward. She feels rewarded because of it. And it's kind of a strange thing, but it's like if you reward them and say that's great, that's what we need to do, they'll keep going that direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll try to think of a problem, is go from problem solving to like, okay, this is what we're going with now. So that's great. I'm speaking in just terms I would talk to somebody like an assistant. How about a chorus? And then I have an idea what the chorus would sound like again, but I'm going to structure it as use words that are staccato. Staccato means it's very short. Instead of long vowels, you have these short words instead of da words. So this is these staccato words. Because this has to do with meter. When we start delving into the elements, each element has its own subcategory. For example, the lyrics, they're comprised of two different things, which is the melody and the text. That's element number 4. So the melody has its own pitch and variation and duration and vertical and whatever it is. And the text has it's separate from the melody, but it has its own meter. Like you're almost delving into like poetry at that point, right? But we're taking the musicality part out of it. So when I say staccato words, it'll pick staccato words for me, this is the very essence of the barrier to entry. Some people don't know poetry, right? So if I just said, I'd like to have it short words here and long words here. For example, I want long words in the verse and short words in the chorus. That gives me the contrast between these two. So I know this is the verse and know this is the chorus, right? It gives it more of a variety when your listeners listen to it. So I want to use more that are staccato words.
Yeah, and I think what you're doing too, it totally reinforces that prompt engineer. The more effective your prompts and so precise, and you develop a relationship with Amy here, that's exactly, you're going to get the product, but you've got to be able to have the knowledge like you're showing with the staccato words and that. So you're not just sitting there going, write me a song. You're being very precise. So you are totally engineering. So the more precise you're doing with this, the better your collaboration is going to be.
Right. And the more yourself it's going to be too.
Yes.
So there's no other experience that I can give Amy.
Yep.
For this thing other than myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So
yeah.
I was going to say, if you said, just write me a song, ChatGPT, like it wouldn't be anything. It would be junk, right?
Right.
You need to be able to communicate, have the vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
Your experience within skills that go into it, and then you can get that way if you didn't have the skills as well. It's like you can be just a good listener to a song and never have written a song before, which is a little frustrating, by the way, to people who've dedicated their life to song theory, is that you get somebody who's never done it before, which is, good for them. And they just say, well, I like it to sound like Benny Blanco. I like to sound like Taylor Swift, how she writes songs. So you can it'll do that too.
Yeah.
Right. So, and through their own intuition, that person who writes that kind of a song, for one, has knocked down the barrier to entry to writing songs.
Mm-hmm.
But for two, they go on like what they feel like. It's like, this doesn't feel this first part. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's called a verse. I don't know what it's called, but this doesn't sound like a Taylor Swift song. Make it sound like this. So it starts prompt engineering an idea of like, this sounds like this should be shorter here. This should be longer. So you start using those words that aren't in the vernacular of a song theorist. They're in the vernacular of just somebody who wants to talk to somebody, who would just want to make a song that way. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be, the market's going to be saturated more with people who don't know how to write songs, because it's crushing a lot of this with the ChatGPT. But you're right. When it comes with, the more you know about how to write songs, the more, the easier it's going to be, and the more concise it's going to be to that person's, and germane to their experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's exactly right. But I want this last little part here, I wanted to end with the hook. You know what the hook means?
Mm-hmm.
And with the hook, lost. All right.
Nice.
I don't know how it's going to get there, but we'll see. Lines cut, no call. Hand cold. Yeah, I mean, it's staccato words, really, for sure.
No rhyming, eh? Interestingly.
Yeah, there's fall and call.
Oh yeah.
A little bit. Okay, yeah.
A little bit scared, and which is kind of neat too. If you think about this, is what I learned from. Yeah, scarred.
Art rhymes.
Doesn't have anything. Has nothing to rhyme with it. Heart, scarred. Maybe let's get some internal rhymes there. For it to pick that, maybe it had a choice to pick. Let's put some internal rhymes in there. I don't know.
Well,
But if you think, we look back at songwriting, the teachers I've had, there's a guy named Pat Pattison. He has these things called balanced and unbalanced. So if I'm writing about a subject that is, this character's in turmoil, I want to have these unbalanced rhymes and uneven lines in song, because it kind of throws the listener off, because this person is unbalanced in the character's unbalanced.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? So if I had a hero character that's just perfect in every way, I want to have perfect rhymes and exactly the same, the lines very even as they go through. But if I have a situation where I want to make it, I want the character to be unbalanced, I want the listener to be unbalanced too. So, which makes kind of sense here too, because it's kind of, you look at the chorus, it's not really, it's kind of an unbalanced kind of a feel to it. So it's kind of a nice, I don't think it picked that on purpose, but when it hits my ear, it sounds like it's trying to get it unbalanced at that point. So this is formatting. It's a text. This is a prompting for formatting. Write the verse and chorus.
I like how you contrasted the long and the short vowels on the verse and chorus.
That's a very huge technique. There's another Jai Joseph I was telling you about. He has this another book called The Secrets of Songwriting. He believes that it's prosody and contrast. Prosody is a word like that goes with something. It's prosody to that. And then it's contrast at that point. So, which is the same thing as like saying I'm establishing something, and then I contrast that to something else. So it's my version is establishment contrast. That's what gives between the two. That's what gives that kind of tension, which is musically speaking. You want to have tension and release. But in words, you have to have you establish an idea, and then you contrast it with a conflict of some sort. And that's what gives it that drama. And it's what gives it that kind of thing that you have to resolve at the end of it. So when you have a verse that's all long words, it's setting them up. It's establishing something. Well, what do I do to contrast that? Give them a chorus with short words in it. So that's the feeling of that technique that happens. Makes the listener go, oh, okay, this is not only do I know this is the chorus, but this is a different feeling I have by listening to this.
Right.
And so those little things like that start to add up in the listener. And that's what people get their, the sustenance, emotional sustenance from.
Yeah. Good way of putting it.
Write the verse and chorus in the format. And here's where we bridge it over to Suno. Suno's got a text generator as well, or a AI in it that generates lyrics. So you can go in Suno and do this as well, but I think this is a little bit better engine. But what it'll do, it'll put into a format. See what it does.
Nice.
And so all I can do now is just copy it. And, don't get me wrong with this thing too. When you start editing this down, make sure you let people know that I would go more with this. I would, I wouldn't just go right now and put it over Suno and that'd be it. This is an art to me. This is like something I love to do and pick through songs and like, okay, this works, this doesn't work, this word doesn't work. What word goes better with this? And it's like we did earlier. All right, my editing.
That's the frame I really see this through, Will, is like, we're not just, garage songwriters. Like, we have a serious stake in it, and this is for songwriters. This is sort of just giving them a window into a different way of doing it. But
Exactly.
I'm not going to do any weird.
I know you wouldn't. No, but I think the idea of this, just going through it, and this is like, again, it harks back to the point of what I do in my coaching sessions, that we look at your material, and this is what we're doing, is looking at your material, and how to write these songs and it's the other stuff that we talk about. We talk about acting, and we talk about the psychology of stuff. These are additional information around the material that you're looking for, and so that seems to be a better way to understand how this big thing of songwriting works. It's not as easy as you think, but through those sessions, 2-hour sessions that we go through, it's like you start to learn more about the idea behind it and the understanding behind it.
There was a songwriting group I'm part of. They go, we do not want any AI generated stuff. So I kind of went, because it's like I say, we've talked about it. It's that whole mindset. Like, you want to fight it. I don't know. I don't know.
You're gonna find a lot of people who complain about it. That's usually the first thing. But after you figure out that's usually, I always say the obstacle is the way. So if you have somebody complaining about it, that's probably the way you need to go. It's like, okay, why are they complaining about this? It's obviously a subject worth complaining about.
Yep.
So it's like, why? And I'm interested in it. So instead of like complaining with the person, it's like, how can I overcome that complaint, or how can I overcome that? Pivot into a point where it's fruitful, because it's always going to be, if you have a positive mindset.
Yep. Yeah. I said the obstacle is a way. That's exactly. That's a great way to put it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And but I think too is like the way even traditional teaching, like education, is a little arcane. And you got talking about AI being in classrooms now, and schools popping up, and they're having to rearrange how to teach people things.
Yep.
So yeah, so we won't be much longer, but I just want to show you. I want to spend a little bit of time on this. All these tools you can play with on your own, but the actual to see somebody actually use it properly, I guess I'm not saying it's proper, so to speak, but it's more like, what's the idea? How do we use this, in our songwriting day to day? How do we overcome the fact that it's going to write everything for us? So I think I think I've communicated the idea that it's about how you prompt things and what your experience is, and it's going to be unique to you. And like I said, with this coming back to our little session right here, I would definitely have more input on how this works and just on lyric wise by itself. I have no idea what the melody sounds like.
Right.
I have no idea what what's going to how it's going to present itself, what genre I want to put it in. I have no idea, but I know that the lyric is pretty solid and usually everything starts with the lyrics.
Hmm. It's kind of cool to come into a song with like no musical idea yet, just totally lyrics.
Yeah. Well, I think convolutes things too. So if you have, like, say, if you start with the lyric, or if you start with the harmony, which is the chord progression, which is element number one, you you can start there. If I want to have a cool 4-chord progression, and then I start singing over top of it, and I start the melody over top of that, so I can start there if I wanted to. But we're normally, most likely everybody's going to start with the lyric. And that's usually the hardest part is the lyric, trying to get what you want out. So I would, the way to combat that is to go into this, use it like it was another tool for you. And it's like, okay, I didn't know it would do that. So that's a good idea. I'm going to keep this line here, for example, and change this line that we did. So just like we edit it. So we have to get our mindset, the fact that the muse goes away. Now we have the editor that comes in. Like, I think I'd like it to do this. So let's say we finished it. Let's say we're kind of on our way. We really don't know. I really don't know what it's going to sound like. I was telling you earlier.
Is Suno free? I haven't.
Same idea. You can get. I think you can. I paid for it, and it's I think it's $20 a month. You can have. There's a free version that gives you credits. If you see can you see down at the bottom here? Is that too small? I'm circling these credits, and they give you 3,000 credits per month, and they're pretty liberal with the credits too, because I can go through a whole iterations, probably 50 iterations of a song and not use but maybe 1,000 credits. So it's a good amount of credits to give you to work out songs. But Suno it's starting to be its own thing now. It's starting to be its own social media platform and DAW for that matter. It's got its own workflow. Here you'll see all the navigation tools. On the left. How many credits? What I did was you can pay per month. I think it's like $20, but I paid for the whole year, which is like $120, I think, and it gives you 3,000 per month on it. And that there's another plan that gives you unlimited if you wanted to, which is like $200. But this is plenty. I've got everything I need to do per song for one. What I pay now for it. Essentially, what we're going to do, since there's so many features here that we can go through, I'm only use the create feature, which is this create button here. And you see some of the stuff on this right-hand side where I've created. There's a neat feature that I do too that kind of ties in our troubadour writing. I'll show you here in a second. Here on this panel here, I can just do a song description of what I want. It'll give me a song description, give me an instrumental if I wanted to. If I was telling you earlier, Pierre, about, if you did any sync licensing or for movies, and you need like a short little stinger for something, you can write it here if you wanted to. Make a short stinger. Banjo. Is a beat. Stinger. A banjo stinger, and set it for instrumental, and then create it. That's all you do. And
you can feed in your own guitar audio or something too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm going to go before we got time. I'll show you how to do that too. That's where kind of the troubadour writing comes in and connects with what you got going as far as the digital writing. So this is what it created. Took only maybe 6 seconds, I bet. So it was pretty mind blowing, and it gives me a variation of that. Like
Takes all the fun out of it, though, isn't it?
it does, and that's the idea too. It's like it's not that much fun, and death metal banjo stinger.
Yes. I want to hear this.
This is the fun part where we're kind of goofing off and
Shred the hollow earth.
there we go.
And the artwork.
Yeah, it puts up all the artwork for you too. You barely hear the banjo. You barely hear the banjo in it.
Yeah, I don't hear the banjo.
Yeah, so it's not. So you can take that to your own DAW, and cut it down and use it for whatever you need to use it for. I could do what we're looking for is custom, and the lyrics that we chose. So it's popping the lyrics that we chose,
Okay, yeah.
and that's pretty much it right there. Any particular style that you wanted to go with?
I don't have anything in mind.
No.
They give you some prompts down there, don't they?
They
Lo-fi.
give you, if you want to do a pirate prompt, I don't know what that means, island vibes. I think something that you can, matter of fact, can you see this? You can see this tab, right? Right. Music genre. This is the old school way of doing it when you Google it.
No, we can't see that tab right now.
You can see that tab. Okay. Well, it gives you can Google types of genres that you want to be in, but let's do acoustic jazz. Something I don't do is acoustic jazz, but I love it.
Okay.
And really, if I wanted to, I'm going to do these advanced options. This is housekeeping stuff. Gender, let's do a female.
Weirdness is such a funny word, like
Yeah, if you go 100% weirdness, it'll make its own little, it'll be just weird. This is what it sounds like. It sounds, it takes its own liberties. If you want to keep it like right in the middle.
it's like, how creative do you want me to try to be?
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to go and play with it, you can go 100% weirdness, and it'll give you something that less musical, but it's just completely weird from what it thinks it needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
Styling the same way. Let's give more toward 70% there. And this is called Lost Ark. I can put into a workspace, which is what I've done for several different things, just for housekeeping purposes. But we're going to keep it where it is now. We can put it later into a workspace. But yeah, you can kind of dial it into where you need to as you go and play with it. But this is our little song here.
Okay. So no melody. We're letting it decide.
Let it decide what it needs to do.
Yeah, cool. I'm excited. I'm pretty excited for this.
There it is.
I wait by the phone in the cold night air. Street lights hum low, but no words are there. My voice drifts slow through a wire gone dark. We used to talk, now silence leaves a mark. Torque
that's all we have, and I'll start filling the rest of it. It won't fill the lyrics in for you, but it'll fill the music in for you.
Oh man.
Oof.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about AI art, but it just makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, let it sink in for a second, because that's the first feeling I had, was like, oh my gosh. And it is, first thing was like so jarring, that how realistic it sounds and how quick it was and easy. It was like, I didn't think of that idea of being that way. That was so, I had to take a second. I'm like, how, it was fear. It was like, how's this not going to take over the world? Then you start getting to the point where it was like, all right, let's use this as a tool now. You can change up words if you wanted to. Suno has it to where you can change, if you had a line that you want to change in it, you can, and it'll work it around. It won't be exactly the same song, but it'll be kind of close to what you had it before, but it'll change the lyrics up too if you needed to.
I don't mean like skin crawled, like, oh boy, like this is really good or this is scaring me like that. I mean, like I get a visceral reaction. Like I feel not good in my body when I hear this. And at one time I actually asked one of these AI tools, like I needed to make some cover artwork for some post. I was like, can you do this thing? And I gave it kind of a specific kind of creative thing that doesn't actually exist. Like create for me an image that has like, a flower, but there's like, birds coming out of the top or whatever. And what came back was so repulsive. Like it was the worst thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I was like, there's something there. Like there's this disconnect. Anyway, I just felt this visceral thing, listened back to it. And it wasn't like what you were saying, like the fear.
It was, did it feel more like, like disconnect? Or
it's like the opposite of when you're reading like a great poem and you feel grounded, you feel in your body, you feel connected to your emotions. It's like the opposite, like everything closed up, everything felt like I was being electrocuted or something.
Yeah. Wow.
But how about that band? I'm sure you guys have heard. Was it I'm just looking it up. The Velvet Sundown. It was all AI, and people didn't know about it. And right there's, I read a little bit about that. Right? You will.
Yeah, that's what it is. They created a whole playlist on Spotify.
Yeah.
Of a band called the Velvet Sundown. They had an album out, and which there's more of them out there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's neat study. From what I read about it and delved into it,
Right.
It's neat on how listeners actually stream. So if you take it at that aspect, yeah, it's like almost injustice as far as a songwriter goes, how it's all AI driven.
Right.
But as far as if you take it at the listener standpoint, it's how they consume that music. There's a few of us, like Dave was just talking about, how it made his skin crawl because it doesn't sound, the way it, as a listener standpoint, it just made you kind of uneasy.
Mm.
But in another aspect too, the majority of listeners on Spotify don't really care about the song as much. They just want to have that feeling of what they get. And so it doesn't matter who wrote it. It doesn't matter what the art of it is. And they just want to have that escapism of like, I just want this during my workout, or it gives me a adrenaline boost.
Right.
That's the stuff that we build in our first part of this thing. We talked about the contrast between establishment, how long words make short words. And if you study that part of contrast, like the verse will be a long, and it's a long verse, or long, short, long is what the technique is called, where you have a long verse and a short chorus, or vice versa, a short, long, short. And that contrast is what they're getting the feeling of, the tension and release of that. So that's what we build into our songs, as far as technique goes. So that's what the listener wants to hear. So we're doing the same thing. We're building that tension and release through these techniques, that it may make it feel uneasy because it's not giving you that. It's giving its own technique somehow, or it's possible that when I put that technique in, it was making David feel uneasy. about it. Does that make sense?
It wasn't the technique. I think what it is too is this was 100% AI created. The
Yeah.
lyrics, we didn't input any of that.
Right.
And the music, we didn't input the melody. We didn't like. It's something that's something AI cannot touch. It cannot mimic true human creativity. I really believe that there's some sort of innate quality to human creativity that people can feel. And this AI stuff, for me at least, it just feels alien, creatively speaking. It's just
Right. Well, I mean,
the thing with that song though, like say if I would have said, you know, like and not like and being deceitful and say, oh yeah, my daughter she wrote a little jazz number. You want to listen to it? You know what I mean? Would that change your thing? Because to hear that what we just put together, you're like, oh, that's the nice.
I may not know. I may not know it's AI. Some songs I can kind of feel it is, but sometimes I probably don't even know.
Yeah.
That's the idea. That's the idea behind that Velvet Sundown.
Yes. Yeah.
The study behind that is that they don't care.
No.
You know, it's like, who cares if it's AI or not? And that's
Sounds
what
good.
editing.
Yeah.
And like here, that again, this whole workshop of it today is just the lost art. You know, the troubadour kind of songwriting is that it lends more to the art of it. And sure, you're going to have a subset of people, or a majority of people might not even care what kind of art that is. They just want to have they don't care how they made the movie. You know, they just want to see a Marvel movie. I just want to see something that's spectacular. I want to see something that is not my everyday life.
Yeah.
Or sums up what we're doing is summing up stuff that is in our everyday life in a way that, in a different way, a different aspect, different lens of it through somebody else's lens. They crystallize their thoughts. And so, yeah, but as far as the artistic part of it goes, the melody, putting the melody together and putting, you know, where does it come from? You creatively, internally. You know, it would be like a subset of people who enjoy that part of it.
Well, for you, Will, I mean, as a true songwriter, how do you work with a tool like this then? So like this was all AI, but you come to these often, I'm sure, with some music in mind.
Yeah.
Melodies.
A lot of times too, I've spent a lot of time doing this back and forth between GPT and this, just to get the idea of like, how do I feel about this? You know, over a few months, even the past year, actually, when they first kind of started Suno, and I can see it's almost like I'm a buffet picking out how I write songs. I'm not doing it one way anymore. And I've kind of learned these seven elements of the song. I don't have to do it one way. I can start with the melody. I can start with the lyric by itself, or this is the idea. Even if I start with the seventh element, which is the songwriter themselves, it's like I just learned a concept of how part of a relationship works. You know, it could be something psychological that I've learned through the relationship. I start with that idea of of myself, how I say things, and how I work in a not just a loving relationship, but like a business relationship. Why does he say that? How does he say that? What would he say? You know, what would possess him to say something like that? So that curiosity seems to be, you can start anywhere you want. But having gone through this, tying it back to my roots of being a troubadour songwriter, it's got a feature on here that kind of does it. I've actually saved a song, an idea that I wanted to show you just for this workshop here that I haven't used. I haven't worked out yet into Suno, and it's still on my guitar, per se. It makes sense. It's still on my, I know how it goes. I haven't written a verse after the chorus yet, but what I want to do is I'll play it into Suno, record it into Suno, and see how it feels about it. I mean, the idea I have. Do new workspace this time. The song I was working on was called Say Anything. So we're kind of starting from the beginning here, sort of. And there's a button here that I can add audio, record it if I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
through terms. It's ready.
That a little pop up there probably said, by recording your audio into our service, we may use this to generate AI.
Right. It says using it as a model of some sort. But I think it also says too, it makes sure it's your own. You're copyrighting your own material, that's all they need to say. Even though you don't have, sometimes they don't do it. It's so hard to find to pursue copyright infringement. You have to have millions of dollars to do it sometimes. That's a whole other workshop. Copywriting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we got the big red button.
Yeah. Let me remember the words here. All right. I'm just going to record it like I would normally record things.
Okay.
Okay. I can see in your eyes you don't like me right now. Nothing I can say can change your mind. Fact is, I learned I need you right now. I was foolish and blind. Baby, your silence is killing me. Please tell me how it's gonna be. Say you love me, say you hate me, say you can't stand me. Say it's alright or it's not right. I really wanna go. Say something, say anything.
Right on. Cool.
So I kind of messed up a little bit there, but see if it picks it up. I don't think I have to go through. Let's see if it picks it up. So it gives me this little thing, snippet here, and I'll just say save it. It gives me an idea of what I want to do with it, but I'm just going to wait until it uploads it.
Yeah. And that's cool. You only have, would you usually play a full song, or is it enough to just do
Full song. Yeah, they give me 8 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I might have to do it again because I don't see it.
Say anything workspace. I see it there under, maybe it's in there. Shoot, eh? I think it got messed up or something because we did the first song in this window. Maybe you got to just give it a refresh too.
Our library. Oh, here we go. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can see in your eyes you don't like me right now. Nothing I can say can change your mind. You hear that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Fact is, I learned. So I'm going to go through and there's this place called Cover. I'm going to cover that song. And I'm going to make sure the lyrics are right too. See, I can see your eyes. You don't like me right now. Nothing I can say can change your mind. Yeah. Fact is, I learned I need you right now. I was foolish and blind. That's pretty good. It wasn't as accurate as this. Baby, your silence is killing me. Please tell me how it's going to be. Say you love me. This is actually
a pre-chorus.
That's a pre-chorus. That's right. So I'm going to change that up a little bit. And these brackets tell Suno what section it is.
Mm-hmm. Do you have to put a space after how it's going to be, or no? It's going to be like that.
No, I think it's going to be fine. But what I usually do, what I found out, when it kind of tries to interpret it, it doesn't. Sometimes I don't know if they fix it or not, but sometimes they don't. They bleed over to the next line, so puts two lines together. You don't want them to go together. So
Oh, yeah.
punctuation is kind of a key here. So I'm just
Mhm.
going to put commas, so it reads the commas too. So all I'm doing is trying to direct the AI to read line by line,
Mhm.
but to make sure that it pauses where I need to pause. And there's a feature in it to where I can make it elongate words, actually, if I needed to. But well, that's more advanced.
Well, I'm curious to see how well it covers your melody,
Yeah. So
because you gave it a lot of information. You gave it everything it really needs, I think.
yeah, yeah. And then what we're going to do at this point is I'm going to give it a little more information here, a male style voice. It gives me, here's the styles. Look at this here.
Huh. Neat.
Rock, song, and major key.
Slightly raspy tenor voice. Cool.
Yeah. The primary instrument is acoustic guitar playing, consistent strumming. Wow, that's pretty detailed. Tempo is around 110.
Melancholic yet hopeful atmosphere.
Okay. And this is all kind of new because it never
Wow.
really gave this kind of description of the song. It has to
First-
interpret the song first and then give
Yeah.
the description of it. So it's really never done that before. Mostly charged lyrics. Well, I'll leave it. See how it goes.
That's very good.
Yeah. Here we go. And
How about the leave everything the same there?
yeah,
Weirdness.
we're just gonna be in stereo influence is okay. Audio influence.
Oh, okay.
Brought
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah.
Loosely did it. So we'll see how that does. Okay, here we go.
Let's rock and roll. I'm excited for this one.
I usually put in like modern country song or Western song or whatever I'm working on, whatever genre I want to be in. That one's kind of a modern country, I guess.
Mhm.
I guess I could probably put that. I'll audition a couple of these, like this one here, these two, to see how I feel about it, and then I'll change the styles format here.
Yeah. So you can go back and tweak
Yeah.
it and then create again.
Yeah, it'll change it. It'll give me a completely different song, but it's really what I'm looking for is make sure the chorus is right and make sure all the words are right in it. So here we go.
I can see in your eyes you don't like me right now. Nothing I can say can change your mind. Fact is, I learned I need you right now. I was foolish and blind. Baby, your silence is killing me. Please tell me how it's gonna be. Say you love me, say you hate me, say you can't stand me, say it's alright or it's not right. I really wanna know. Say something, say anything.
So
Dang.
what I mean, it's not bad, but what I'll usually get to.
Where's there the second bar of the chorus? Were you doing those couple minor chords, or did they put those?
No,
in?
that's the idea too. I want if I want to get really strict about it, then that's where I'll audition that one. The two things I found out about this recording, what I just did, it doesn't follow the same chord patterns. So I have to decide, do I like that or do I not like that? So if I wrote it and I like the way I wrote it, and plus it got the word wrong here. I really want to know. I said it wrong. The chord is I really need to go. Right. So she really needs to go. Say you really need to go. Just say something, So so that audition failed. I don't like that one very, very much. So with the new lyric, and knowing that I don't like this, I want to get it closer to the audio.
Mm.
So I want to have a little bit more moderate to the audio, and that's probably why it was loose to the audio,
Mhm.
and it gave me those other extra chords in there. But then again, when I put it in, I kind of messed up on some of the chords. You know what I'm saying? So, so what I would do is go back. I would go back and redo it again if I needed to. So all those things are a factor. This is part of the work, you know. So I record, do another creation of it, and you look
I always
here.
just-
It's only taking about 100 credits every time I do these. Do 2 of them.
yeah, and it always does 2 recordings, 2 demos.
Yeah,
I guess you can set that up differently too if you want.
yeah. I think you can. But here's the new audition.
Got harmonic in that.
I can see in your eyes you don't like me right now. Nothing I can say can change your mind. Fact is, I learned I need you right now. I was foolish and blind. Baby, your silence is killing me. Please tell me how it's gonna be. Say you love me, say you hate me, say you can't stand me, say it's alright or it's not right. I really need to go. Say something, say anything.
That's closer.
He didn't sound as country though. I like the first clang. This guy was a little bit more, say anything. It's like, come on, man, get out of here.
Yeah, like Irish. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Right. But yeah, and through that, through that iteration and through that, it's like, well, I need to change this. And that's the things I think about too. Because what I do, knowing that I'm a live performer as well, which I've got to show here in a little bit, I take it from the songwriting platform now. Let's say I pick one of those that sounds better, that sounds close, very close. I'm very strict on it too. That sounds really close to what my idea is. It sounds really close to the song that I wanted. So I'll get that very close, and then I'll go ahead and have that recording as a reference.
Mm-hmm.
So so at that point now I turn into the cover artist. Even though I wrote the song, I'm kind of covering it as a live performer now. So and that's that person is the same as if I had George Strait or Alison Krauss or whatever. I just listen to that song over and over again, and to be able to perform it live at open mic or live at one of my shows, or and then if I were to go further with that, after I get that situation to where it's pretty good, I'll test it out in a live setting. I may tweak it. And then what I'll do is I'll take it to, after I tweak it and get to exactly where I want as far as the settings go, as far as the song itself, after doing it live, I'll further go to a studio and say, hey, can you put this onto we need some live music. This is all AI driven. So let's take it to a studio and lay down tracks for this stuff, and I'll sing over top of it. And that's the recording I'll have on an album, for example. Does it make sense?
You use it as a reference in the studio?
Yeah, I use it as a reference in the studio.
To play with real musicians.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
'Cause
part of the process.
You can split these stems out now too.
You
Wow.
can. Yeah, if you want to do that way. At that point, you can either do one or two things. One, I can take it to my DAW with stem splits.
Yeah.
And be able to record myself over top of it as a work tape.
Yeah.
But there's still a lifespan to the song that I wanted to go through with studio musicians.
Yeah, and will sound a lot better too with the real musicians.
Yeah, and then but there's a part of me too that loves recording. Being in front of my DAW and
Yeah.
um, going through the music, and that's part that I love too. I don't want to lose that part of it. And there's probably a time where I'll keep experimenting with it. Like I'll put a twinkle
Well,
here,
That's
whatever.
what it comes down to, I think, as songwriters and musicians. Like, we just love to write and play. So we're never going to totally sacrifice ourselves to these tools. Like, there's still going to be a lot of us we want to put in there because it's fun and we just like to do it. So
Yeah.
end of the day,
That's the bottom line of this whole idea and understanding of working with AI is that it is a tool. It's part of your instrument, part of your workflow. It's not, we talked about earlier, and we can write a whole song that just have to write a song about love, which is a very broad topic. Even if you get specifically in relationship, let's write a song about leaving. You can write a whole song that way if you wanted to, but it comes down to the songwriter.
Yeah.
I love how to turn a phrase. I love the techniques I've learned and practiced, and
yeah,
it makes people feel. It's my lifelong journey with it, and I wanted to share with people. So it's not so. Yeah, you can use it nefariously if you want to, whatever nefarious means.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it's an instrument just like anything else, and then to demystify that is, that part will find its way. You're going to find a lot of people who use it, like Spotify, who make their own. Literally the CEOs of Spotify, the board of directors or whatever, can make their own music and their own playlists
Yeah.
and make money from that.
Yeah.
And
They are, I hear.
right. And they might be doing it now. You don't know. But, and the injustice is like, it has to do with the person listening. Is it injustice when I don't care about who listens to that? Or so I think what's going to save it is the art, and working it as an art form.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
this
all I
has
got.
been,
I mean, it's another instrument just like anything else. And,
yeah.
you gotta pivot to where you think it's going to help you. The obstacle is the way. If you think it's going to stop you, then that's probably where you need to go and demystify all that.
I love it. Love it, man. And I really appreciate you walking us through this today, kind of letting us see kind of behind the curtain how you're doing some of these things. I think it's cool. It's like you said, it's a tool. It's just another tool in the arsenal. I think it's gonna, give a lot of songwriters new ideas, new opportunities to develop their songs and inspire and create and or push against or whatnot. But it's been really cool. So thank you, Will, today for putting this together for us.
Anytime, I love it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do is workshops and talking about my craft.
Yeah.
Any idea when the book will be? You have a
I'm
projection?
trying to get time to do so. Yeah. With AI, it's gotten a little faster, but it's also too has gotten more. It frees up a lot of space for more things to put in it.
Okay, well,
So,
keep us posted, man, because I'll be buying it for sure.
absolutely, sure will.
And how can people find you online, Will?
You can go to willjone.com.
Okay.
And I'm almost all the social medias and all that. So you can email me. We'll share some emails on this our little thing here, and that's the best way to get all of me.
Okay, well, I guess you got a gig to get to, so have a great gig this afternoon. You got to travel. You got to go a little ways for your gig.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half away and about a half hour to set up. So I'll be right on time, I think.
Oh,
Okay.
boy. Well, we'll have to do this again sometime, man. Thanks again.
sure.
Keep you up to date with any of these YouTube clips or whatnot. I'll put some cool stuff out there, though, hopefully. And we'll chat soon.
Thanks,
All right,
Will.
Hey, thanks, guys. We'll see you.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Have a good gig.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.